जय जय जगन्नाथ सचिरनंदन जय जय
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. बाकी है, आरती कर ली। नहीं यहीं करो, उसके बाद पुष्पांजलि वाली आरती हो जाएगी। हाँ? जब दशावतार गाएंगे ना, दशावतार वाली आरती हो जाएगी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी,
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 गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना,
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना,
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना,
यमुना तीरा वनचारी,
यमुना तीरा वनचारी,
यमुना तीरा वनचारी,
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी,
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी,
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी,
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी,
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना,
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 यमुना तीरा
वनचारी,
यमुना तीरा वनचारी,
तीरा जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
गोपी जन
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना,
His divine grace. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam about, what is that? This is our temple Bhagavatam. We are supposed to go ahead with the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra as told by who?
Do we have not get it?
Sukadeva Goswami.
Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. We have been talking about Ramayan in a very condensed but very important way. Sukadeva Goswami himself tells to Parikshit Maharaj that this is about 5,000 years back it was happening, that, my dear Parikshit, you have heard this Ram Katha many, many times. So I am not interested to tell you all those. But I will tell you precisely and very brief, but it is more significant than traditionally told by the Kathavachaks. They do not have any purpose other than to just put up a show. But here you will be able to understand the transcendental glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the eyes of divinity. We have to understand Janma Karma Che Me Divyam Evam Vedtiyo Tattvataha Kaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Swargas. The premise is that to worship the Supreme, to perform bhakti, is meant for giving up this material body forever and never to come back in this miserable world. But don't think you will go nowhere. You will be going straight to Lord Krishna's own abode, where whatever inclination of your worship is to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental, you regain your transcendental nature and will continue to perform there. That is the premise. So on that premise we have to work very, very diligently. And this particular chapter is about Lord Ramchandra rules the world. We have one more session to come tomorrow?
Yes.
Or two more?
Two more.
Two more.
Tomorrow and day after.
Tomorrow, all Ramayan. Oh, so I will be selecting out some verses there, because otherwise I will have to leave something to speak for tomorrow. All right. we were talking about the building the bridge over the Indian Ocean, and Ramchandra threatened Varunadev, if he is not give him the way, then he will dry up the whole ocean. So then Varunadev appeared, appeased him with proper worship and glorification, and then we have to proceed further. We also learnt from Varunadev what is meant by a son and or putra. The definition came from Varunadev. Otherwise, he will be useless, like Mutra. We are told that Lord Ramchandra was inspired by Varunadev, even though he was self-sufficient in himself, and invited to make a bridge. All right? And we were looking into the so-called logical explanation given by some people, but without touching the transcendental subject matter. So, the floating of the stone is still prevalent, and one can go to Rameshwaram and see that. So, furthering the pastimes, after entering Lanka, the monkey soldiers led by chief like Sugriva, Nila and Hanuman occupied all the sporting house, granaries, treasuries, palace, doorways, city gates, assembly houses, palace, frontage, and even the resting houses of the pigeons. And when the city's crossroads, platforms, flags, golden water pots, and its domes were all destroyed, the entire city of Lanka appeared like a river disturbed by the herd of elephants. This is the description of the devastating efforts of the monkeys. When Ravana, the master of the Rakshasas, saw the disturbances created by the monkey soldiers, he called for Nikumba, Kumbha, Dumbraksha, Dumrakha, Surantaka, Narantaka, and other Rakshasas, and also his son Indrajit. Thereafter he called for Prahasta, Atikaya, Vikampana, and finally Kumbhakarna. Then he induced his followers to fight against the enemies. Lord Ramchandra, surrounded by Lakshmana and monkey soldiers like Sugriva, Hanuman, Gandhamada, Nila, Angad, Jambavan, and Panasha, attacked the soldiers of the Rakshasas, who were fully equipped with various invincible weapons like swords, lances, bows, prashas, ristis, shakti arrows, khadagas, and tomaras. Oh my God, this is a very lucid explanation of different missiles of modern day. Angad and other commanders of the soldiers of Ramchandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses and chariots of the enemy and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs, arrows. Thus the soldiers of Lord Ramchandra killed Ravana's soldiers who had lost all good fortune because of Ravana had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. We are given the description of some kind of superhuman activities going on, that these are not ordinary monkeys, but they are very powerful, and they are attacking the opposite side, which is also very highly sophisticated phalanxes occupying the modernization of the machinery, warfare machinery. But yet, Sukadeva Goswami interjects the clue. Then one loses the fortune if we are not able to please the goddess of fortune. Real fortune is Lord Vishnu. So, if we worship Lord Vishnu, or if we engage Mother Lakshmi to worship Vishnu, then all fortune is prevailing. You cannot worship Lord Ramchandra without her. But that is for the human being to understand. You cannot worship Lord Ramchandra without his fortune to be employed in his service. But we have some demoniac nature, inherited as we saw. We want to worship Mother Lakshmi without Lord Ramchandra. Everybody wants Lakshmi. It means we are Ravanas. We want to have only Sita, not Ramchandra. Actually, Ramchandra cannot be worshipped without Sita Devi. Lakshmi personified must be employed in the service of the Supreme. But how come we are on the side of the demons? Our mentality. That we do not want the Lord to take part in our lives, but we want some credit only to his wife. This is the wife of not an ordinary person. We are not satisfied. That's why we look somewhere else. In the transcendental realm, Lakshmi Devi becomes fearful always. Oh, when will the Lord go away to play his pastimes without me? So she remains fearful all the time, Lakshmi. And we become fearful of Lakshmi when she will go away from our tent. All the time. We are in anxiety. Isn't it demoniac nature? It's not that Ravan is the only demon. But our mentality of the Ravan nature is more or less to be curbed. It should be curbed from the root cause of such enviousness. Then we'll be able to perform devotional service. We have to engage Mother Lakshmi, Radharani, to always serve Krishna. We are simply assisting. We can't serve directly. We need the medium of the energy personified. So, on one side, the energy is manifesting to fight the demoniac soldiers, which is a competitive counteraction to uproot a big tree, to throw a big mountain peak. It's like to throw meteors on the Rakshasas. And they were able to, throw and smash them. They were doing all for the pleasure of Ramachandra, and demons were all doing for the pleasure of Ravan. Demons' pleasure. They were all faithful soldiers. But as far as the display of such power or energy is concerned, it can only be counteracted by the transcendental energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is called Ladini potency. And here, Mother Sita is personification of that potency. So therefore, because of her displeasure, Ravan lost all the fortune and it has been written off. It's written off. He's sure, he's simply breathing for some time. Sure to be dead, smashed. One cannot displease the energy of the Lord. She will counteract. It is not our energy. It is the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thereafter, when Ravan, the king of Rakshasas, observed that the soldiers have been lost, he was extremely angry. Thus, he mounted on his airplane, which was decorated with flowers, and proceeded towards Lord Ramachandra, who sat on the effulgent chariot brought by Matali, the chariot driver of Indra. Then Ravan struck Lord Ramachandra with his sharp arrows. Lord Ramachandra said to Ravan, listen to this. You are the most abominable of the man-eaters. Indeed, you are like their stool. You resemble a dog, as a dog steals eatable from the kitchen in the absence of the householder. In my absence, you kidnap my wife, Sita Devi. Therefore, as Yamaraj punishes sinful men, I shall also punish you. You are the most abominable, sinful and shameless. Today, therefore, I, whose attempts never fail, shall punish you. Prabhupada gives the explanation. Nachadaivat param balam. No one can surpass the strength of transcendence. Ravana was so sinful and shameless that he did not know what the result would be of kidnapping Mother Sita. The pleasure potency of Lord Ramachandra. This is the disqualification of Rakshasas. Asatyam apratishthante jagad ahur anishwaram. They think this material world has no basis. It is asatya, means asat means temporary, means it actually does not exist. This is Maya. This material manifestation is for time being, but how you use it may become Maya. We are using in service of Krishna. Therefore it is not Maya. We are connecting it. We are not singing filmy bhajans. Then it will be Maya. It will make me Maya. So, this is the disqualification of the Rakshasas. Asatyam apratishtham. Pratishtha means there is no stability. For the asat, there is no stability. So, this material world is created, sustained for some time and then dissolved. This is not stable. But I am immortal and I will conquer all the Swargaloka, which seems to be stable. But they are also not stable. They may live long. But stability has to be understood with the transcendental nature. Transcendence means devoid of material nature. It is beyond the understanding of material nature. It's called transcendence. Rakshasas are unaware that the Supreme Lord is the ruler of creation. They think everything has come about by chance or accident and that there is no order, king or controller. Therefore the Rakshasas act independently as they like. The scientists also do the same thing. Going even so far as to kidnap the goddess of fortune. This policy of Ravana is extremely dangerous for the materialist. Indeed, it brings ruin to the materialistic civilization. Lakshmi, in the form of, to become Lord and Master, it has cracked down the economy. So devastating that when we will be rising up again, it is simply a pie in the sky. They may say Australian economy is still going good. Our dollar is stronger against US dollar. But you wait. Huh? What do you think? Huh? Where is our dollar counter? Everybody is counting dollars. Wow. Trust no future, however so bright they may give, but acting living present with Krishna overhead and heart within. That is more important. Nonetheless, because atheists are rakshasas, they dare to do things that are almost abominable, and thus they are punished without fail. Religion consists of the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one who carries out these orders is religious. One who fails to carry out the Lord's order is irreligious, and he is to be punished. So, after thus rebuking Ravana, Lord Ramchandra fixed an arrow. His bow aimed at Ravana. He released the arrow, which pierced Ravana's heart like thunderbolt. Upon seeing this, Ravana's followers raised a tumultuous sound, crying, "Alas, alas, what has happened? What has happened?" As Ravana, vomiting blood from his 10 mouths, fell from this aeroplane, and as pious man falls to earth from heavenly planets when the results of his past activities are exhausted. Shine punya martya loke vishanti, in Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter 21st verse, when the results of their pious activities are exhausted, those who have enjoyed the heavenly planets fall again to earth. The fruitive activities of this material world are such that whether one acts piously or impiously, one must remain in this material world. This is according to the nature of their pious activity. Pious activity will not bring us out from the material world, will not liberate us. It is asking the result of happiness and knowledge. These two are still binding in material world. Pious activities would not give you transcendental knowledge. That is the requisite to cross over this material existence. Transcendental knowledge comes only from the Lord and His pure devotees. You cannot manufacture here. So we have to pay attention that our karma kand may take us to Swargaloka for better enjoyment. But then, Shine punya martya loke vishanti, when the pious credits is just like bank account, but you are withdrawing. How much can you withdraw? As much as you deposited in. Right? So, when the account is depleted to bare bottom, where will you go? Come again on the planet Earth, accumulate again if you want, and go to Swargaloka again. But Brahma Bhunan Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. My dear Arjuna, starting from not only this planet, from the topmost planet to the lowest of the planet, in 14 planetary system, everyone is coming back and forth, back and forth. What is the use? We are stuck in Maya. Do you think there is no Maya in Swargaloka? Then why these demons are going and conquering the Swargaloka and kicking out all the demigods even? Vishnu has to come to the rescue, that is another thing. But why they have been always chased after? Right from the inception of this creation, the war between demigods and demons have been going on and on and on. Just like the wars here. America is also demon and Afghanistan is also demon. Don't consider, the demigods are fighting from the USA. No. And Krishna is tricking that both the demons fight with each other to lessen the burden on the earth. That is the trick. Devotees are not part of that. They are not interested to accumulate this punya or pap either. Because Krishna says that I don't take anybody's piety. Neither I take the papa. I only take love and devotion. That is beyond pap and punya. Right? Krishna performs the act of devotion to himself. And that's why he is not attached to the results. But we are attached to the results of our pious activity and impious activities also. So we are suffering both happiness and distress simultaneously. Happiness is also a suffering. It's only a time gap. We think it is happiness, but it's an absence of little miseries. But miseries are ever going to be piling up. So, we see the transcendental nature belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, he is always remaining in that nature and try to defeat or overcome the material nature of the Rakshasas. We have to become free from all designations of whatever we think we are when we are engaged into material activities. We have to, as far as devotional service is going to be concerned, do not identify you as a doctor, engineer. That is not a devotional thing. But utilize your studies in glorification of the Lord. If you do not work for Him, then you can offer the results. If you cannot offer the results to Him, then offer your intelligence. If you cannot offer your intelligence to Him, then simply chant Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram. But if you want to offer your entirety, sum total, that is the best. You will become totally detached, completely aloof from the so-called worldly sorrows and enjoyment. That is the nature of demoniac. Real human, if you are, human means Manav, and Manav means descendant of Manu. By abiding the rules and regulations of Manu, we can come on the terms of this transcendental nature. So Ram Katha is coming under the dynasty of the moon, where Ikshvaku and Dashrath and other descendants, they are preceding forefathers of Lord Ramchandra. And he came to uphold this absolute truth of devotion. And how come the whole kingdom will be able to worship? They have affinity, they have this or that, but Ramchandra preferred to remain separate and went to the exile. If he wanted, the Lord could have done it right there and there. But no, there was no fun. The real fun is in these leelas. So we have to understand in the nature of divinity, not otherwise. Divinity doesn't get manufactured in this material world. It comes. And because you are part and parcel of that divine nature, you have that divinity. Just bring it out. Understand. And that is the whole sum and substance of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Alone, nobody else. So, thereafter all women whose husbands have fallen and in the battle, headed by Mandodari, the wife of Ravan, came out of Lanka, continuously crying. They approached the dead bodies of Ravan and other Rakshasas, striking their breast in affliction, because their husbands had been killed by the arrows of Lakshman. The women embraced their respective husbands and cried piteously in voices appealing to everyone. Oh my Lord, oh Master, you epitomize troubles for others. They are telling the truth. And therefore, you were called Ravana. One who makes others cry is called Ravana. But now that you have been defeated, we are also defeated. For without you, the state of Lanka has been conquered by the enemy. To whom will it go for shelter? That means the residents of Lanka, who will they take shelter? You were the giver. Ravana's wife Mandodari and other wives knew very well how cruel a person Ravana was. The very word Ravana means one who causes crying for others. Ravana continued, caused trouble for others, but when his sinful activities culminated in giving troubles to Sita Devi, he was killed by Lord Ramchandra. Now, see, in their cry, they are telling the absolute truth. Oh great fortunate one, you came under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramchandra. And the purport Srila Prabhupada says beautifully, not only was Mother Sita powerful, but any woman who follows in the footsteps of Mother Sita can also become similarly powerful. There are many instances of this in the history of Vedic literature. Whenever we find a description of the ideal chaste woman, Mother Sita is amongst them. Mandodari, the wife of Ravana, was also very chaste. Similarly, Draupadi was one of the far exalted chaste women. As a man must follow the great personalities like Brahma and Narad, a woman must follow the path of the ideal women like Sita, Mandodari, Draupadi. By staying chaste and faithful to her husband, a woman enriches herself with supernatural power. It is a moral principle that one should not be influenced by lusty desire for another's wife. Matravat paradareshu. An intelligent person must look upon another's wife as being like his mother. This is a moral injunction from Chanakya Pandit. Matravat paradareshu parada draveshu lostravat atmavat sarvabhuteshu yapashyati sa pandita. A learned man should imbibe in his character the lofty ideals of the chastity. One who considers another's wife as his mother, another's possession, a lump of dirt, and treats all other living entities as he would himself, is considered to be learned. Thus Ravan was condemned not only by Lord Ramchandra, but even by his own wife Mandodari. Because she was a chaste woman, she knew the power of another chaste woman, especially such as wife of Lord Ramchandra, Mother Sita Devi. So, nobody can estimate somebody else's chastity without being chaste himself or herself. That's a rule. And we spoke about the Tulsi's chastity towards Vishnu, but at the same time, in her previous life, was that even though she was a devotee, she would give all the power of her devotion and convert into the chastity of her demon husband, Jalandhar. And such a chastity, the conflict of chastity, is resolved by Lord Vishnu by cheating her, that she cannot utilize this. Transcendental chastity means our original, each and every living entity's chastity is towards Krishna. Then and then they are in harmony with him. If the chastity is broken, ichha dvesh asvanat, that is dvesh. When we break our fidelity by a separate desire which has been arisen out of enviousness, we break the chastity. That chastity of the living entity was broken. That's why this material was created for them as a jail to correct themselves. Animals cannot correct, but human beings have been awarded the best opportunity to correct this chastity back and go back home, back to God. So, तानहम द्विश्वतः कृरान संसारेषु नराधमान क्षिपामि अजस्रम अशुभम आसुरीम योनिषु. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. This is told by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Thus, the destination of godless atheists such as Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Dantavakra is a hellish condition of life. Mandodari, the wife of Ravan, could understand all this because she was a chaste woman, even to a demon, but her chastity is originally connected to Lord Krishna. Therefore, she does not forget why she has to be chaste to even Ravan. This is the rule. Every living entity should regain their chastity with Lord Krishna. Chastity means fidelity. When we say something of chastity, we try to limit within our own household or life. And that too implying only to women folks and not men folks. How much degrading knowledge we have. But chastity is applied to each and every living entity. After all, each and every living entity is feminine, Shakti Tattva, Jiva Tattva, Jivera Swarupa Hoyer Krishnera Nityadas, Krishnera Tatastha Shakti. Jiv is Krishna's marginal energy. And energy, and Krishna is energetic. So he is male. Every living entity is female. Simply by taking the position of a so-called male, we have a different psyche, and simply by taking the form of a woman, they have a different psyche. Oh, we are complementary to each other, but we can never become equal. Or artificially we will try to become equal and we will enforce this rule. No. Both are spirit, soul, both are equal originally. There cannot be any artificial equality ever to be gained. Check the character of Kunti. She is ideal, very chaste. And she knew Krishna perfectly well. Not only that he was her nephew. No. She knew that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You read her prayers, given in Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto. She is the most intelligent woman from the whole planet of God. So, we will stop here.
Because we were talking, I think last night maybe, you were talking, there was a question that came up about not, which you spoke about not imitating but following footsteps. And these examples of these people to follow, like for the men and the women to follow, they're very, very high standards. And for when you give the story of Tulsi Devi, that she served a husband who was with her chastity and stayed faithful and stayed with him, even though he was such a demon. But then, Prabhupada also writes in purport in 7th Canto that a woman does not have to stay home and serve a husband who has fallen. So there's some sort of practical application as well that we have to apply in those teachings, isn't there? Like, I was just wondering if you could comment.
It's an exception in the sense that unless and until there is a social organization, even in Devi Varnashram system, where such protection to the women should be given. Yesterday we were talking about however a woman would be powerful, she must be protected. She cannot have independence. So in that sense, one should not live that independently, she can't protect herself independently. She will become the target of the abuse or whatever it is. So in that relationship, now in Delhi there was a case. An initiated disciple of Srila Prabhupada, her husband was a drunkard and very cruel type, and he used to beat her up. So one time she ran away and came to Delhi temple, and Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada told her, please go back to your husband.
And he knew that the husband was beating her.
Yeah. And he told, you are a devotee, go back to your husband. Alright? She came again. And Prabhupada told her to go back. the indication is that in our spiritual organization, the Devi Varnashram system has not been established yet. So who will protect her? Who would take the charge? Prabhupada left this important work for re-establishing Devi Varnashram system. Most of us are in the Varnashram system, which is a very rudimentary and polluted system right now. So we have to introduce Krishna consciousness in our Varnashram dharma. Because we still follow rudimentary, but we should not be contented. The purpose is that atapambi dvijasreshta varnashrama vibhagasha dharmasva anutishthasya samsiddhim haritosham. The perfection of our performance of varnashram dharma is to satisfy the Vishnu. So whatever the traditions are there, whatever, they may not be out of place, but right now they are being followed meaningless. So in such a system, Prabhupada executed this particular. No, you chant Hare Krishna, and really that Mataji became courageous to face, and she changed her husband.
I don't know if Maharaj, if it was the same person, but there is one letter where Prabhupada's writing to someone that says that was beating his wife, and he said, you should not beat her because she's a devotee, you should not beat her. So perhaps also like then the Guru will instruct, this is abominable activity.
But it becomes the responsibility of a devotee by tolerating inconveniences, but at the same time remain fidelity to the Supreme Lord. So she will be physically showing the fidelity to her husband, regardless however the husband was. And she was able to, convert him into a devotee, transform her into devotee. If we, just follow blindly, then we might be in trouble too. If we are not properly set up to give protection, this protection system is built in within the Varnashram system, but because it is being abused, women are abused. So the idea is that the principle remains the same. The chastity belongs to Vishnu. And just for the physical situation, or that is also going to be time being, but at the same time we are given that titikshva karunikai surat surdehina titiksha means tolerance and karuna. When a devotee is there, a devotee should develop this particular characters. Titiksha means tolerance and karuna. The person is ignorant. Who will show karuna to him except a devotee? Right? So, the power of devotion can turn the lead into gold. Is it not? That is the divinity aspect. These are all divine characters, 26 characters of a devotee. If one is a devotee, then he will be cultivating these qualities which are divine in nature. But these are to be cultivated in his external being, right? Or within internal also. But spiritual fidelity belongs to Krishna. So therefore, the devotee's internal status is the Swarup Lakshana is surrender to the Supreme's will. Surrender to the Supreme. Srila Prabhupada was a pure devotee and he was encouraging her to become tolerant and do not simply give up. You have to fight back, not by hand and foot, but by the power of devotion. Every devotee is at war with Maya, otherwise also. Huh? We have the effects of modes because we are in the body. You never know. Sometimes we also show some craziness in our immaturity, right? What will happen? We have to fight back. But how do you fight? Pray to Lord Krishna, take more and more shelter, and associate with the devotees. Chant Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We can set up counselor system. We can do mediation. We can do anything in between just to resolve if it helps. Otherwise, surrender to Krishna. This is so no more obligations. Sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam parirutya krityam. Means soul chastity to Krishna. Right. So, we have to understand in the context. Right? In the context of when Srila Prabhupada tells there must be a transcendental instruction. You know? And Prabhupada was happy. It's not by kicking her out, but saying, my disciple is a fighter against Maya. Yeah.
Haribol. Day before yesterday, you were describing the body is the soul is leaving the body, and the body is on the last is in the last stage. Senses one by one they will start to become weak. So he cannot hear, cannot see, cannot smell. Now, in those circumstances, if someone is not able to hear, and the other devotees are chanting, sitting around him, what effect he will have?
What are we hearing?
Krishna's name.
Radio waves? You can't see that. How can you see the transcendental vibrations? They are far, far, very short wavelength. It's not measurable by so-called instruments. Transcendental sound vibration has no effect of material nature. You know. And we have to trust that sound vibration, not simply melody singing, not something with the rhythmic or congregational or anything. It's the sound vibration which is identical with Lord Krishna. When you say Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I am not able to see Krishna dancing on your tongue or my tongue either, but Prabhupada was able to see that. So there is no difference. How does otherwise this transcendental sound vibration penetrated the womb of Kayadu and entered into the heart of Prahlad while he was in his as a fetus. And Kayadu did not become a devotee, but Prahlad became a devotee. If she was the medium, physical medium for transcendental sound vibration, Narad Muni taught her, but was it useless? No. Narad Muni knew that He prevented the demigods not to kill Kayadu because a great devotee is taking the shape. Otherwise, devatas were ready to kill her. And Narada Muni gave protection to Kayadu, brought her in his ashram till Prahlad was born, and Hiranyakashipu would return from the austerities that he was performing. But meanwhile, Narada Muni did the job. Because he's the transcendental personality, and that's what Prahlad received, and he never forgets. Even after coming out from his mother's womb, he is always in remembrance of the Lord. So it is not the material sound vibration that we are talking. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Prabhupada said how it works. Somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, he was a regular comer, but in the hippie time, they will bring their instruments, so he had a guitar. So he wanted to understand the truth about, sound vibration. He said, for me, people say Nada Brahma. Nada Brahma means the transcendental sound vibration. But the musical instruments, they worship because after all it's being used in service of the Lord. Therefore they offer obeisances to the mridanga and this and that and before playing. So the nature of transcendent, just to please Lord Krishna that I'm playing, I'm using, But these are the bona fide instruments also. They have been used not only traditionally. Not only traditionally. But otherwise, they have all different kinds of, filthy things. This is cowhide. And that has to be used in Krishna's service. Do you bring a skin or an item of skin? Not even belt or shoes are permitted. They are also made up of the same skin. But how come this is allowed in the temple? This is also skin of the dead animal. Mostly it is cow. Nowadays in Mayapur, they use the slaughter animals' hide because ISKCON is one of the big customer of mridangas, and they don't find the naturally dead cow. So they are going to Murshidabad, where there is a big slaughterhouse, and they bring the hide from there. All the beef will go exported to Bangladesh and Middle East and other things. So, that is our situation. The important aspect is that the sound vibrations that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at that time, these were the instruments being played. So we are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We may use other instruments too, because Krishna, but at the same time, when we have to practice Nagar Kirtan, only this will work, other things will not. Neither we are allowed. While we will sing the Aarti, no harmonium. That's a Kirtan standard. Alright? Only for bhajans they are allowed. The idea is that that things of transcendental nature, if being used in Krishna's service, must be considered as paraphernalia of the Lord, and they should be worshipped. That is a higher consciousness than rather simply worshipping the deity. That is Lord Shiva's telling. Okay, Aradhananam hi sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam param. Tasmat parataram Devi, he is telling to Parvati. Better than the worship of Lord Vishnu. Tadiyanam samarchanam. These are tadiyas of Vishnu. Devotees are tadiyas of Vishnu. So better, honor, respect, and worshipable devotees who are senior and to be respected in that way. That is a worship. So it is the transcendental nature that we are supposed to worship, not a physical seniority or this or that. So this is Shakti, transcendental energy, that is more powerful to overcome any demoniac force. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Kesava Sita Miya Sharira, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Siddhira iha vipula tare tishtati tava pishe, dharani dharana kina chakra giste. Siddhira iha vipula tare tishtati tava pishe, dharani dharana kina chakra giste. Keshavadrita kurma sarira, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Kesava Gita Kurma Sharira, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Vasati dashana shikhare dharani tava lagna, shashini kalanka kaleva nimagna. Vasati dashana shikhare dharani tava lagna, shashini kalanka kaleva nimagna. Keshavadrita Sukara Rupa, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Keshavadrita Sukara Rupa, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Avakara Kamala Varita Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tanu Pindam. Avakara Kamala Varita Manusa Shringa, Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tanu Pindam. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Kalaya Sivikramane Balima जगन्नाथ नीर जनित जन पावन केशवदीता वामन रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवदीता वामन रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
क्षत्रिय रुचिरमये जगत प्रगत पापम् प्रपयसि पयसि भूत भवतापम्
जगत प्रगत पापम् प्रपयसि पयसि समित भवतापम्
केशवदीता भृगुपति रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवदीता भृगुपति रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
वितरसि दीक्षुरणे दिक्पति कमनीयम् दशमुखमौलिबलिं रमणीयम्
सरसि दीक्षुरणे दिग्गपति कमनीयम् दशमुखमौलिबलिं रमणीयम्
केशवदीता राम शरीरा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवदीता राम शरीरा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
वहसि वपुसि विशते वसनं जलधावम् हलहति वीति निलित्य जमुनाभम्
सदैव सनं जलधावम् हरति विचिवितायमुनाभम्
केशवदीता हलधर रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवदीता हरहर रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
निन्दसि यज्ञविधेयः श्रुतिजातम् सदयहृदयदर्शितपदुघातम् केशवदीता बुद्ध शरीरा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
बुद्ध शरीरा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तुम्हें
केशव दीता कल्पी शरीरा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश
जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
श्री जय देव कवेरिदं गीतमुदारं शृणु सुखदं सुभगं भवतारम्
श्री जय देव कवेरिदं गीतमुदारं शृणु सुखदं सुभगं भवतारम्
केशव दीता दशविध रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवदेवता रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशव दीता दशविध रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश
केशवदेवता रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे